For problems 1 through 8 below, graph each equation. Problem number 1, y equals negative 3/5 x plus 2. I'm first of all going to circle the number that doesn't have the x in it because that's my starting point, that's my y-intercept. So I'm going to start up at a y value of 2. And then from there, the slope is negative 3/5. The first number represents the rise, the second number represents the run. So from here, I'm going to go down 3, and then I'm going to run 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect those 2 points. And then voila, I have my line. One thing we want to check, this is a negative slope, so I should expect to see my line headed down as I move from left to right. Okay, the next one, y equals 3x minus 4. Again, I'm going to circle the number without the x on it, that's negative 4, so that's my starting point down at negative 4. And then from there, the slope is 3, I'll make it 3 over 1. So from here, I'm going to go up 3 over 1, and then we can go ahead and connect it. And we should be good to go. And again, the slope is positive. I do expect to see my line heading up. Problem number 3, 4x minus 3y equals 12. This specific problem we're going to have to solve for y first. So I'm going to first of all subtract 4x from both sides. So I'll have negative 3y equals 12 minus 4x. The next thing that I need to do is to divide all 3 parts by the negative 3. So I'll get y equals 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. And then on this part, a negative divided by negative is a positive. 4/3 does not divide out nicely, so I'll leave it as 4/3 x. Right, from here we're ready to graph it. I'll circle the number that doesn't have the x on it. That's my starting point, so I'll start at negative 4 on the y-axis. And then from there I need to rise 4 and run 3. So I'm going to go up 4 and over 3 and put another point, and then I just need to connect those 2 points. Please make sure you are putting arrows at the end of each of your lines to show that they keep going and going and going. Alrighty, the next one, x equals 4. I do know that if there's just an x equals 4, there's no y in my equation. This is going to be a vertical line. And the way usually you hear me explaining it is if the x-axis goes horizontally, then an x equals line has to go vertically. So I'm just going to go over to x equals 4 and draw a vertical line. Okay, problem 5, 5x plus 3y equals 9. Again, on this problem, I need to make the equation say y equals so that I can graph it. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. So I'm now going to have 3y equals 9 minus 5x, and then I'm going to divide all 3 parts by 3. So I'm going to get y equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. This is going to stay a negative. 5 divided by 3 does not work out nicely, so we will leave it as 5/3 x. Okay, I'll circle the number without the x on it. So my starting point is going to be 3 on the y-axis. And then from there, it's a negative slope, so I'm going to go down 5 and then over 3. And again, one thing that I want to check, I put my arrows. One thing I want to check, it had a negative slope. It is headed down, so I'm doing good. Right, number 6, y equals x plus 3. There's nothing in front of the x, so I'm actually going to put a 1, and I'll also put a 1 underneath it as well. I'm going to circle the number that doesn't have the x on it, so I know my starting point is 3. So I'm going to start at 3 on the y-axis, and then from here, since my slope is 1 over 1, I'm going to go up 1 and then over 1. And then we can go ahead and draw our graph. Okay, problem 7, y equals negative 1. All right, on this one, if it's a y equals line, I do know it's going to be horizontal. And the key that I've been using in class, if the y-axis goes vertically, then a y equals line has to go horizontally. It has to do the opposite of that. So it needs to be a horizontal line just down at negative 1. So that's all I need to do for that one. Okay, problem number 8, x plus 4y equals 4. First thing that I'm going to do is put a 1 in front of the x, and I'll actually do this down here. This is another one of those problems where we have to make it say y equals in order to graph it. So I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. So now I have 4y equals 4 minus 1x. And then from here, I'm just going to divide all 3 parts by the 4. So I'll get y equals 4 divided by 4 is 1 minus 1/4 doesn't work out nicely, so I'll leave it as 1/4. Okay, I'm going to circle the number that doesn't have the x on it, so 1 is going to be my starting point. So I'll start up at 1 on the y-axis, and then from there, since my slope is negative 1/4, I'm going to go down 1 and then over 4. And then I will go ahead, I'll go ahead and connect those points, and I am set to graph.